items that please you.
Okay.
So that when you go home, you're happy to be home.
So don't just place red and green mats because Wangeshi said so and then you're upset.
Yes, but you can unify. If you're using red and green, use red and green. If you're using silver, then you work with silver.
So not too many colors.
Not too many colors.
And then on your table, we have something else going on. Yours is more festive than mine. Mine is more dinner, yours is more Christmas.
Yeah, so what we do is that you can also put candles around the house because again, you'll have other items that are decorative. These placemats, normally you have to remove them once a meal is done. But then the candles will set the mood. I like to use, okay, in front of me is these are glass,
like drinking water glasses?
They are actually candle holders.
Oh.
And then they have this snowflake on it. Now that's not very relevant in our culture, but it is still a Christmas theme. And what you do is that you place a red candle. These are available in the supermarkets, and a green one.
They won't stand now because we haven't
They won't stand, yeah?
Don't you run the risk of them burning each other and melting each other off when you do that?
Not really. I think you have to watch them.
And where do you get these? Also, is it possible to make your own? Because, like we said, we're trying to save money as everywhere we can.
You can use a glass. If you don't have this, you can use a glass and
a normal
shot glass. Or even a pretty plate like this one. This I find at the flea market. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So
these are what we call,
and you can place your candles right there.
Actually.
These are saucers.
Yeah.
And you can actually place your candles right there.
All right.
Now, what I like to do is to use the African theme because I am in Africa and I'm in Kenya and I'm localized. So this is, do you recognize what this is?
Of course. We use them for, what are they called in English?
Lanterns.
Lanterns.
Yes.
This is quite handy.
It's very
And these
handy.
are very affordable.
And this is affordable, so, and it reminds me of my grandmother, so that's it. Place it on a pretty saucer and then you place your candle right there. Depending, of course, on your color scheme.
And these candles, because people think, well, this is too fancy schmazzy. Where am I going to get all these things? Are they available in my local supermarket, for example?
These are available in your local supermarkets, and these are the normal candles you use. It's just that the color, you select the color for the season.
Okay,
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that you also have Christmas bells, which I've seen used on Christmas tree decorations.
Yes, we're saying that as the season begins, you want to set up your Christmas tree. We don't want to set up the Christmas tree on the week of Christmas because then you only have 1 week and then you have to bring it down. So start early, and if they can show you the pictures. So you have your tree there, you want to make it look good, and you want to start with the lighting. Always start with the light, and then you wind from the bottom up.
We always do the lighting last, usually. I've seen it done where after you've thrown your cotton wool and your shiny things, and then you do the lights after, so they keep falling.
They keep falling, and then they tangle with the garlands. So what you want to do is that you start with the lighting, so that you put them inside from inside. You work from inside out, and as you wind from the bottom to the top, then they are secure. Then the second stage you do is that you put your garlands. You know those decorative?
The garlands are the ones, the tinsel, that we see a lot on graduation.
On graduation days, and they're hung over our necks. But what you do is that then you hang them in curves, okay? From thick branches to the small branches. And you need to do it in a pattern. So again, from the bottom, working on your way up to the tip of the tree. At the top of the tree, at the apex, you want to put something that will create a focal point, like a star, or if you want to use local items, you can use an angel. They have banana leaf, angels made from banana leaves at the Maasai market. You'll be able to get that. Or a star, or bells like this. If you have a big dangling bell right at the top.
That one is very beautiful. Can I see that?
Yeah, this is a golden one, and this is a silver. Again, if you're using the silver theme, you can use this, but a big one at the top. It needs to have a focal point so that your tree looks a bit balanced.
And so how do you make a tree look lovely? Because I've seen cases where, you start decorating with the kids and it looks nice, and then it gets to a point where it's too much. It's too much garlands, too much of everything.
Yes. You need to have a pattern so that you don't overwhelm the tree, so to speak. And what we advise is that you use like 3 colors at most, between the decorative and the garlands, so it doesn't get too busy.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm also seeing on our pictures there a white Christmas tree. This is an option as well.
This is an option because we don't want to do things the same way every year. You want to change your decor, and this is a white tree. It's an option. You can even use, you can have anything for the tree. For example, you can have boxes that are a big white box at the bottom, and they go right up to the top. So that the top one is the smallest.
The smallest.
Box. Yes.
So you imagine, for example, the boxes that you use to pack up your TV, so you pile them up.
Yes, you just decorate them with a wrapping paper, and then you pile them up. So if you don't have a tree, you can be creative and find an alternative.
Okay.
Yes.
When it comes to decorating these alternative trees, do you still use the same methods that you use for a real tree, or how does it work? Because if I was decorating boxes, for example, I wouldn't have anywhere to hang this.
You may not have anywhere to hang it, but the paper that you use can be decorative, can have the prints. So that is not so blunt.
Okay.
Yes. And you can also hang on the sides if you want.
So we have our table set, our Christmas tree is in the corner somewhere. What do we do with the rest of the house?
You can use the garlands. Now, I remember when I was growing up, we'd put a line right across the room with old Christmas cards. So that's not a very modern way of doing it. But you can put garlands like on the staircase, cascading right from the top to the bottom. It just creates such a mood. And then you can also have small decorative items placed like on the clock, on the bathroom, or on the toilet, the cistern, so that everywhere, each room has a feel of Christmas.
Okay.
Creates the mood and, a holiday mood.
And for the people watching who are thinking, well, I would love to have a Christmas tree, but my house is simply not big enough to accommodate it. What are some decorating tips you would give them?
First of all, they're table Christmas trees. Like, they're really short, and you can place them on a coffee table or even on a dining table as a centerpiece. There's some pictures. If you could just roll the pictures. Could I explain that picture first?
Yeah, you can explain them as they go, actually, because I'm seeing lots of decorations in different places of the house. So,
for example, there's a gold basket there, which is arranged by Palestina. And what they've done is a simple basket, a winnowing tray, a small tray, and you put your decorative items all in one, and that already creates a mood.
Okay, and I'm seeing that it's been wrapped with that garland that you keep talking about, and so that's a nice little trick as well.
That's a nice little tree, especially for apartments, and you don't want to bring a big, huge tree into an apartment. So you just have a tree there, and so a lot of these trees can last years. You just invest in one good tree, and over the years you just keep reusing and buying these little items year by year. At the flea markets, some of these things are available. I'll show you what else you can do. On your table, you can also place a runner. I found this at the flea market, so you can see.
So where is this flea market? Because when
flea
you
markets are the toy markets, the Decor. You find that if you just take your time to stroll there, you'll find a little bit of cloth that you can use for Christmas. And even a plain red cloth or a plain green cloth will do. So look at this, and if you just place it even on a bookshelf, it's going to have a wonderful effect. If your house has a smaller space like a worktop, a stool, again you can use a green cloth. Look at that, it's got the Christmas green, and then it's got red marks, which apparently are supposed to represent the color of the apple that fell from the tree in the Garden of Eden. And so you place these in small worktops.
Yeah. I've seen people do this in their homes as well, placing it on top of the TV, on a stool, on the side of the seat, like this, maybe. I don't know if that's in fact at the moment.
I'll show you. Just place it here. It looks better on the... No, I have a better one.
You have a better one. Wow, there's a bag of goodies here, people.
So look at this. There's I found this also at the flea market. Second-hand, so it's really not so expensive. You just have to have a creative mind. And what you can do is that you place it on the back of the seat. I'll show you how.
Oh, this is not meant to go there. I'm really not good at decorating.
So you just place it like that. You see that?
There we go.
Does that have a wow effect?
Yeah.
Simple. And you don't even need a tree with that, because the tree is
The tree is
represented right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ideally, when should you start shopping for all these things? Because it looks like you already have everything in your basket. I don't even know where to find a Christmas tree.
You start early. I mentioned that once you buy a tree, it's gonna last you many, many years. And every year you just add on a little bit, a few items. If a friend travels, they can bring you a wreath, a Christmas wreath. And especially after Christmas, the prices are really low. So that's the time to purchase all these little things. The other thing I've found that you can do is that old Christmas cards, which are really pretty, you can just cut it out and laminate the card. And you hang it on the trees.
And it becomes a Christmas decoration.
And it becomes a Christmas decoration, and you can use it over the years.
Okay.
Yes.
And so where does one go to find a Christmas tree? That is a question for me personally.
The Christmas trees are in the supermarkets. They are being sold now. And then on the roadsides, do you see the flower vendors?
Yes.
They are selling the Christmas trees now.
For the people looking to buy, for lack of a better word, an organic Christmas tree, what are some of the things to look out for? What tree should you buy? How long should it stay in the house before you have to throw it out?
It actually lasts quite a bit, quite a long time. And what you do is that you place it in a bucket, and you can put some soil and water. And then you of course you need to cover the bucket so that it doesn't look so untidy or unsightly, and that will give you a long time. At least it will last you about 3 to 4 weeks.
So by the time New Year's is rolling around, that Christmas tree should still look fresh.
It should look fresh.
Okay.
Especially if you get a good strong branch.
And there's no need to water it. Just put it in the box.
You can water it, because then it will just keep it. But not to flood it. Just water it a bit so that it remains green.
Okay. So Wangeshi, what are other Christmas tips that you can give us that will save us money and have our homes looking really nice?
Well, one of the things I would say is that, first of all, you must invest in the decorative items. And as I said, some of these things you can just teach yourself, and then you store them. Store them away, and then each year you just remove what you need and decorate the house with it. And I don't know what else you'd say. Like even in the kitchen, you can change your bowls, change your cutlery and your crockery for this season.
That sounds expensive though.
It's not expensive. You can actually use the plastic because it's just for this season. Or melamine. Melamine has a pleasant, it doesn't feel
a good finish.
It's got a better finish, and you just use them during this time. Even the cups. In fact, last year what we used were the Mabati cups.
Yes.
The ones
we use in our grandmother's
homes.
Yeah.
And you just select the colors in those. In the red and the green, and they will create the mood for you.
Okay. How about at night? Because we see all these pictures coming from the West of people having these extreme decorations of lights outside. So if you have a garden or if you have the luxury of space outside, what are the key things to look out for?
Normally, if you have a garden and it's not well lit, what you can do is use brown paper. Do you know the sugar paper?
Yes.
And you put soil in it, and then you put your candles in it. So like if you're having a Christmas party, you can put them around the walkways, and then you light the path so that somebody doesn't trip. Now, if you're going to have your hosting, for example, on the Christmas day, you want to put a tent. If it's maybe you have about 50 guests, and then you dress the tent in the colors again, in the red and green, the drapery. You drape it in red and green, and the poles as well. And then the seats, you need to get, we call them dressed seats, so that the chair has a white cloth.
Yeah.
And then you put the bowls in red and green.
Okay.
And then again you set up your table with these little mats. If you can, if it's a small party. If it's a big party, you need to have a centerpiece at the table, at the center of the table, at the center of the table, which is where you can use something like this, or flowers in the Christmas theme.
Okay.
An even cheaper way of doing it is simply placing a plate with maybe a pineapple.
Because the pineapple already has the colors.
It has the colors, and you're going to eat it anyway. So you just place it there as a centerpiece, and you create the mood.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about lighting. How much is too much? You know, when you enter a house and the Christmas decorations are just strobing everywhere, they're changing patterns. How do you know what to pick for what kind of house? Because I imagine if I have a palatial mansion, I can afford to do that.
Yeah.
Because there's space and it's airy. But if you live in a one-bedroom apartment or even a bedsitter, how do you do that?
If you live in a smaller house, less is more. Because again, the challenge with small houses is that they get very untidy, and you don't want to clutter your space and overwhelm it. So just do the lighting near the tree or in one centralized place, or a line of lights like on a curtain box, for example, on the curtain boxes on the sides, and that's it. It really doesn't have to be too much.
Okay. While you're here, I know we're talking about decorations, but in terms of gifts, for those who do want to purchase gifts and give them to their family members, what are some nice, cheap ideas for people to use?
Okay.
Cheap being the key word here.
Cheap. There are several things, and there are a lot of craft fairs at the moment. So you can get bangles for your wife. The best thing to do is also to check her wardrobe. What does she like? What are the colors she likes? Always buy a gift for the person, not what you like, but what they like. And then you can find bangles at the Maasai market. You can find decorative things for the house. For men, it's always a bigger challenge. You can buy them socks, you can buy them a mug, you can buy them a nice shirt with African print, and if you start early, then you don't have the pressure of getting very desperate at the close to Christmas, when everybody is rushing around. So this is the time to shop. There are a lot of crafts in the market, craft fairs, where you can go and pick some of these items.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as we wrap up, perhaps you could tell us some of the key things and some of the key areas that require decorating in the home. Some of the key areas, because I know you mentioned the kitchen. That's not something I would do. As I'm decorating my home, the kitchen would be the last thing I think of.
You want to set the mood everywhere from the kitchen, and all the food comes from the kitchen, so you want to do it there. And but the key areas are the living areas, the sitting room, and then we also have the dining area where there's a lot of festivities. Visitors coming in and out, relatives coming from diaspora, and the other area to check is the guest room. What are you doing for your guest room? If you're going to have visitors coming in, is it just going to be all drab, or what are you going? And next week on the Thursday newspaper, I'm going to have that on what you can do for the guest room to make it look exciting. Have a bed with a nice bed cover. Put a bedside table and maybe a light and books, so that when your guests come in, it's a pleasant space and they won't want to leave.
I'm not so sure I want permanent guests in my home.
Yeah.
So maybe make it pleasant, but not that pleasant.
It needs to be comfortable.
It needs
so
to be
that
comfortable.
Your guests are rested and you know, they appreciate the space.
Okay, so we're wrapping up. So in 30 seconds, anything you can tell our viewers with regard to Christmas decoration and the mistakes they've been making that they can avoid?
Mistakes that they make is using too much decoration. And then, so reduce. Less is more. You don't have to overwhelm your tree. And then secondly is use to have harmony on your tree, use at least 3 colors.
Okay. Use at least 3 colors. Do not over-decorate.
Do not over-decorate. Use at least 3 colors. And then create a pattern. When you're putting the garlands, let them flow in a particular pattern so that it's easy.
So don't just throw them.
Don't just throw them like that. It doesn't look good.
Okay.
So arrange them from branch to branch in neat curves, and then the next row comes in the same curves.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Wangeshi Kinyeke, thank you very much for coming this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. She does write, as we said, for a column on Home and Away, which, by the way, is in the Standard newspaper today. So if I were you, I would grab it, get that pull out, look for her column, and see what she's saying. That's where we wrap up this edition of KTN's Morning Express. My name is Ido Kimani. Have a beautiful day. Tomorrow, same time, same place.